Boxing is one of the most unpredictable sports in the world. It's not just about who hits the hardest or who looks the strongest, it's about who can endure, adapt and rise when everything is against them. The phenomena where people instinctively fear or believe a larger person will win in a fight is rooted in evolutionary psychology and cognitive biases. On this side of things, you've got survival instinct. Throughout human evolution, physical size has often been associated with dominant strength and the ability to inflict harm. And the threat assessment. Early humans needed to assess threats quickly to survive. A larger individual was often deemed a greater threat due to its potential for greater physical power. Cognitive biases, availability heuristic and stereotyping. Viable size is an immediate and obvious characteristic, leading to the assumption that bigger equals stronger or more capable in a fight. Our brains create shortcuts or stereotypes to process information quickly, which is pretty much the Hulk effect size dominance illusion, where people equate physical size with dominance and combat effectiveness. This illusion can lead to overestimating a larger person's capabilities while underestimating a smaller, possibly more skilled opponent. And you've got your fight or flight response. When faced with a larger individual, the body's amygdala, part of the brain responsible for processing fear, triggers the fight or flight response. This immediate reaction can amplify the perception of a larger person as a greater threat, even if they lack the skill or intent to fight. And you've got cultural reinforcement. Media and societal narratives often reinforce the idea that bigger is better in physical confrontations. Movies, sports and even cartoons frequently depict the larger characters as the strongest, further embedding this perception in our collective consciousness. While size can be an advantage in certain situations, combat sports and real-life encounters demonstrate that skill, speed, endurance and mental fortitude often outweighs size alone. This is why smaller fighters, when trained and skilled, frequently defy expectations and defeat larger opponents. Yet, in the age of social media and viral debates, many forget this. Take Bradley Martin for example, a fitness influencer who's built like a tank and confidently asks questions whether elite fighters like Nate Diaz or Devin Haney could beat him in a street fight. His argument: size and strength are everything.
What's the biggest dude you've ever fought?
It's not that big, I don't know.
You think you beat me in a street fight?
You're a podcaster, brother.
Yeah. Because I asked Devin Haney. Devin Haney thought the boxer. He thought he beat me in a street fight 150.
Yeah, he probably f*** you up too, though.
You think so? No, I'm 260.
I said probably f*** you up.
I want to challenge this misconception. It's not just about can you hit harder. So my question to Bradley Martin would be, Bradley, are you confident within yourself that when a person with skill and relentless intent turns the tide on you, can you weather the storm? That's what separates fighters from casual athletes. Fighters are conditioned not just to deliver punishment, but to take it and thrive in chaos. Bradley isn't alone in this mindset. It's easy to think that bigger automatically means better, but let's break this down. We're going to explore some of the most shocking moments where smaller fighters took down much larger opponents. So let's take a look at these incredible battles where skill, heart and technique triumphed over the sheer size. I'm going to cover boxing, MMA, and since Bradley Martin mentioned street fighting, I'm going to include street fighting as well. Starting off with boxing, we've got David Tua versus John Ruiz in 1996. David Tua standing at just 5'10" and weighing under 240 pounds. Tua wasn't the biggest heavyweight around, but in 1996 he faced a taller, bulkier John Ruiz who had every physical advantage. Yet in the blink of an eye, Tua delivered a devastating knockout in just 19 seconds, proving that power and explosiveness can defy size. Then we've got Rocky Marciano versus Joe Louis in 1951, where the undefeated Rocky Marciano, a fighter known for his relentless aggression, was outweighed by nearly 30 pounds and had a massive reach advantage. But it was Marciano's never say die mentality and unbreakable stamina that led to a shocking knockout in the 8th round. It wasn't size that won this fight, it was heart. Now on to MMA. We've got Fedor Emelianenko versus Hong Man Chao in 2007. In the world of MMA, there's no shortage of giant fighters, but that didn't stop Fedor Emelianenko at 6 foot, 233 pound force of nature from facing off against the towering Hong Man Chao, a monster in standing 7'2" and weighing in at 352 pounds. Despite the massive difference, Fedor didn't hesitate to attack before ultimately submitting him with a perfect armbar. Fedor proved once again that in his heart and technique he can conquer any giant. Even further, we've got Fedor Emelianenko versus Dan Henderson in 2011. Dan Henderson, a middleweight / light heavyweight, took on Fedor Emelianenko, a heavyweight legend who was slightly heavier but still smaller. Despite being the underdog, Henderson's knockout power shocked the world, ending Fedor's reign in an instant. Size doesn't matter, Henderson's precision and power overcome it all. Now on to street fighting. We've got Kimbo Slice versus Sean Gannon in 2003. Kimbo Slice, the king of street fighting, went up against Sean Gannon, a trained MMA fighter. While Kimbo had the size and raw power, it was Gannon's superior technique and discipline that won that day. Despite the street fighting rules heavily favouring size, and knocked Kimbo out, proving that skills often outweigh size in any setting. And let's look at pride. Mirko Cro Cop versus Bob Sapp in 2003. At the event, in K1 event, Mirko Cro Cop took on a massive Bob Sapp who weighed in at 329 pounds. Cro Cop, known for his devastating head kicks, faced an uphill battle. He left no doubt who the better fighter was. Sapp's size couldn't protect him from Cro Cop's skill. And again, we've got Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira versus Bob Sapp in 2002. Antonio faced the same size disparity, but this time Nogueira showed us something truly incredible. Despite taking brutal slams from the giant Sapp, Nogueira never wavered. With incredible endurance and technical prowess, he eventually wore Sapp down and locked him in an armbar, proving that size is no match for determination and technique. Roy Nelson versus Stefan Struve 2010. Where Roy Nelson, a stocky but shorter heavyweight, went up against the towering Stefan Struve who stood at 7 foot tall. Nelson may have lacked the reach advantage, but what he didn't lack was power. In the first round, Nelson landed a massive overhand right that sent Struve crashing to the canvas. This was another example of how technique and timing can overcome sheer height and reach. Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard 2011. Finally, in the world of lighter weights, Frankie Edgar took on a much larger Gray Maynard. Though Edgar was naturally a lightweight, Maynard had the size and strength advantage, but Edgar's heart, speed and game-changing counterpunching led him to an explosive knockout victory in their third fight. In this bout, Edgar showed that you don't need to be the biggest to be the best. So there you have it, size may give a fighter an edge, but it's not the end all. Be all in combat sports. Technique, resilience, heart and determination can carry a fighter to victory regardless of how big their opponent may be. Next time you hear someone say, he's too small, remember these fighters who defied the odds and left giants in their wake. Tell me your thoughts in the comments if you have any other examples. Although size may have its advantages, does it really matter? Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video and God bless.